refresh the screen, and instead of 160 scheduled production orders, 161 scheduled production orders. So we'll click on our scheduled production orders, and there we see our R237723 scheduled. Let's take a look at the schedule. And we'll see the different work centers or departments this production order must go through to completion, to meet the completion date. We can also view this information on the routing, on the scheduling tab, where we can see the date and time that this production order needs to go through each of the work centers to meet the delivery date requirements. We'll also notice at the bottom of our screen on production, our new production order, the estimated dollars to produce this item and quantities. Next, let's go ahead and release our production order. This step produces shop papers that we can route through the shop floor. And this step is also optional should we decide to run paperless. At this point, I am just printing a route card. Let's review the route card. We can see barcodes are printed for each of the operating steps. We start out in the laser department. Then it goes to shipping, where we pack up our item and ship it to Tailspin Parts. They will then galvanize the item and then ship it back to us for final assembly. Next, let's go ahead and start the actual production order. During the start process, jobs are created for each of the steps. And we'll notice also a vendor delivery note was printed to remind us of where we're shipping the item for galvanizing. Also, a pick ticket is produced for the items we need to pick. All right, now that we've started our job, is now out on the shop floor, and our shop floor data collection system will display each of the jobs in the appropriate work centers. So let's return to our home page, and let's assume we are now out on the shop. So I'll bring up a standard shop floor control data entry screen. You may have multiple stations out on your shop floor and designated to particular work centers, as I have here. So the station would have a screen that looks like this. Now let's review this screen for a moment. We'll notice the screen provides a queue of all the upcoming jobs that need to be worked on in the order and the sequence in which they were released. We'll also notice at the top any kind of company-wide messages to the employee can be displayed here and changed on a daily and ongoing basis. The employee can log in by selecting their ID or scanning their employee badge with a barcode wedge connected to the station. You'll notice the buttons at the bottom of the screen. These are configurable and can be limited to just those buttons that you need. Let's discuss the queue. You'll notice the colorization. 3 of these lines are for production order 5197. You'll notice they're all red. This is because this production order has been stopped. And until this production order has been resumed, I will not be able to start this job. Notice the grayed out approval button. Now let's also discuss the hand icon over here in the image column. Notice it is red for this production order 5197. That means there is not enough of the materials required to run this job available. Notice the two jobs below, 5268 and 5267, both have green hands. This means the material required to run this job is available. So as an employee in this work center and ready to start the next available job, let's go ahead and scan our badge. In this case, I'm going to select it manually and highlight the job we want to start. So I will do that and then press the Approve button. The job has now been started. Notice the colorization of the jobs that have started in this work center. We'll notice it is in the color blue. Some other things I want to point out. If this work center works as a team, you can establish one person as the team lead. That person logs in and out of the jobs, and everyone else on the team are automatically logged in and logged out of the job with that person. I can also at any point bring up the drawing associated with this job by pressing the drawing button. In this case, we can look at the drawing, and depending on the CAD viewer that I have available, I may be able to pan in, pan out of certain sections of the drawing to get a better look at it. When the job's complete, I simply log back in and press the feedback button. Here I have the opportunity to enter the actual quantity, good quantity produced, any quantity that's in error, and based on that I can set up reasons for the error, and then specify if the operation is finished. This allows me to log quantities at the end of the day or during breaks when the job is not actually finished. So let's go ahead and say this job is finished and approve it. Notice the job is removed out of our queue and we are left with the remaining jobs we need to work on. You may recall from the production order, our next step is to move the component to our packing and shipping station. So we'll log in to that station. And notice that station also includes our production order 5268. So we'll log in as someone in that workstation. Highlight the job we want to start and approve it to begin the operation. Notice that that person had not logged in for the day, so the system automatically clocked them in to begin work for the day. And as before, notice that any jobs that have been started are highlighted in blue. When this step is complete, again we will log in as that person, press the feedback button, and specify the quantity and if this job is complete. And as before, that job is removed from the queue. Well, let's return back to our home page. As we work our way through our production order, we now have shipped our component to our outside processor, Tailspin Parts, who will now galvanize the part. When we started the production order, Dynamics AX automatically generated a PO to Tailspin Parts for us. And that PO is registered in this subcontractor PO queue, which we can click on and drill into and review any outstanding POs. We'll notice our production order 5268 is listed here. Here's the actual PO that was generated by the system and our supplier, Tailspin Parts. We can, at any point in time, go review our purchase order. We can go to the Other tab and see the link to our production order. Okay, so Tailspin Parts has completed galvanizing of our component parts.